Welcome to my superhero showdown series. This is part 1 where I'm going to talk about where I think the DC cinematic universe is going to go. I'm not going to talk about the TV universe. I don't watch it. I'm sorry. I try to watch Arrow. I try to watch Flash. Legends of Tomorrow I think is shit. So, after seeing Batman vs. Superman and with the slate that's coming up, I'm going to talk about where I'm going, where I think it's going up to 2022. So, what I think is you have Suicide Squad coming out. Okay, at the end of Batman vs. Superman, Superman dies. So I'll get to that point, but I wanted to put that in. Suicide Squad has already been greenlit for a sequel, so I think they're going to try and make a franchise out of Suicide Squad. I like all the people that are in Suicide Squad, and I know they filmed a couple sequences in between Joker, Harley Quinn, and Batman. And I do like Jared Leto as the Joker a lot. I think he has a little bit of Cesar Romero, who was the Joker from the 1960s on the Adam West Batman show. So that weird kind of humor. He has a little bit of the Jack Nicholson Joker, so the psychotic side. And he has Mark Hamill in him. Mark Hamill played the Joker for 18 years, and he's the one I grew up with watching all the cartoons. So I really like the way that's playing off. I like Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. I like the Captain Boomerang in there. I like their version of El Diablo. Killer Croc, I'm still on the fence with. I don't mind Will Smith as Deadshot. And there's other members of the Suicide Squad. I don't know who they are right now. Suicide Squad I think is going to be very good. They'll probably make a franchise out of that, do a couple of those. You could interchange different members of the Suicide Squad. Over the years, they've had several members. I don't know what storyline they're going to go with Suicide Squad, but in the comics, all of them had bombs attached to their necks. So if they didn't do what the government said, they blew them up. Yay, DC! So next coming out after that is the Wonder Woman movie, which is supposed to be a prequel, and you even have Chris Pine playing her love interest, the pilot. I think you're going to get a good backstory on why Wonder Woman gave up on humanity for 100 years. So I think it might go back and forth between the 1940s and 2016-17 era. So I think that should be pretty interesting. A pretty interesting concept. The next Justice League movie, the very first Justice League movie, I didn't think it would take them this long to make a Justice League movie, to be honest. I think it's going to revolve a lot around, I think the New Gods is something that they could build up to, but I think first they should really, I was thinking, well, what would be really cool is if they brought Brainiac in first, because Brainiac originally was the artificial mind of Krypton. He's the one that was the reason why Krypton was destroyed, but there's been different iterations of Brainiac. Some he looks like a spider, some he has a robot suit, some he's just an artificial intelligence. So I would really like for them to put Brainiac in there, and then you could really go to Darkseid, and you could build up Darkseid the way that Thanos has been built up. Or you can just jump into Darkseid, and then you can cross paths, because there's going to be, Justice League's going to be two-parter. You can do the first part Brainiac, and the second part, I would do Darkseid. And you got the Flash movie coming up. I'm not real sure on the dates on some of these, so I'm really sorry. The Flash movie could be really cool. They got a different Flash from the TV show, and people have been talking that he's really good in here. So I'm not really sure what villain they should bring in first. I would love to see Gorilla Grodd, though. I do like me some Gorilla Grodd, and you can't go wrong with a giant 800-pound intelligent monkey. It might be a little bit too close to Planet of the Apes. But you could also do he has a rogues gallery, and it's like Captain Cold, and like Heat Wave, and a couple other people like that always trying to like stop him. Or you can just do Reverse Flash. But Reverse Flash is kind of like. And of course you have the Cyborg movie coming up, which there's been conflicting reports. Like some people say it's going to be a Teen Titans movie, and some people say it's Cyborg. But I'm not a Cyborg fan. I don't know about Cyborg, so anybody can be in his movie. I have no idea about Cyborg. The next one, of course, I already talked about Justice League 2, which in Justice League Part 2 will be like a huge battle movie, I think. Be very good. I'm just doing a brief synopsis, and then I'm going to go over which directions I hope it goes. There's also, they plan on doing Dark DC, I think it's being called. Dark DC is what Justice League Dark was in the comics. Now, for those who don't know what Justice League Dark is, Justice League Dark is Constantine, Zatanna, Preacher, Swamp Thing, the Demon. They're all like supernatural characters, and it's a way to bring the supernatural characters to fight other like supernatural demon stuff, which I think would do really well, especially if they got in the style of a like Guillermo del Toro or Dark House style, like really dark, gritty, low budget. I would do it low budget so it's different from, so yeah, Justice League up here, Justice League Dark like over here on the like weirdo meter. So that'd be really cool. I know they're going to do an Aquaman movie. And Aquaman actually has, I love Black Manta. So I hope that they bring Black Manta into this universe, because you could really do some cool stuff with Atlantis. The balancing of the thrones, underwater battles, sea monsters, destruction. Oh, and especially since Aquaman and his brother always fought for position of the throne. So it could be really cool, and they could alter Aquaman's powers a little bit, because and some versions of Aquaman is kind of shady and anti-Justice League. So that could be really cool. There's a lot of different directions that could go. And of course, it's been coming out that the Lobo movie is not dead and that they want to bring it back. They've always wanted to do the Lobo movie with The Rock. But Lobo's a character that you could really do really well. You could do a really cool Lobo movie. He's a biker mercenary in space. How cool is that? Especially since we had Guardians of the Galaxy that Marvel did. Lobo could work really well. And you got Shazam. My only problem with the Shazam movie is they cast The Rock as Black Adam. Okay, so you have Black Adam, you're going to have The Rock, but who's going to be a big enough star on the same caliber as The Rock to play Shazam? But then how are they going to do it? Because Shazam is actually like a little like 10-year-old boy that when he says Shazam turns into this beefed up Superman looking dude with a freaking lightning bolt on his chest. I think what they should do is scrap the whole Billy thing and just make it where Shazam is just all powerful, do New 52 style. So I think that would be that one's going to be cool. And I heard instead of doing a Green Lantern movie, they're going to do a Green Lantern Corps movie, which is going to have like Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, Kyle Rayner, and then you could have some like the random creature ones, like Kilowog could be in there. There's like a fish face Green Lantern. There's a squirrel Green Lantern. You could really go off the wall with that. And of course, we found out there's going to be a Batman solo movie coming out. And of course, Man of Steel 2. Because Batman vs. Superman is not Man of Steel 2. So this is the direction I want the DC Universe to go. I want the DC Universe to be able to go from in different directions, and I want it to be able to not have the same villains all the time. Because you could really push the boundaries and pull out villains that people don't see that often. You could have Cheetah, Giganta for Wonder Woman. A Flash, you could have Reverse Flash, Captain Cold, Gorilla Grodd. You could King Shark. You could really go out there, and even with Aquaman, you could really make it different with underwater battle scenes, and they could really push the boundaries, separate themselves from Marvel, and really show what they can do. I really want them to explore different pathways. Look at the comic books and see what storylines, because some comic books don't always transfer over to movie film adaptations as other ones do. So I would really push the boundaries, try and do something different. The Green Lantern Corps, what I would do is have the Sinestro Corps already set up, because you could have them fight the Sinestro Corps. You could have them fight the Manhunters. The Manhunters are a robotic type race that hate Oa so much. And what people don't realize is there's a bunch of different colors to the rings, and you could bring in different lanterns fighting different corps, and you could really make it into a Star Wars-esque space destruction. And you could even bring, if you want your Hal Jordan, or if you want your Jon Stewart, or if you want your Kyle Rayner into the Justice League, and you could even have the Green Lantern Corps help the Justice League at certain times. You could really go in that direction. I would bring a Teen Titans in here, because then you can have a new Robin. You could have something for Cyborg. You could bring in Raven. You could bring in Beast Boy. You could really go the distance. And if for Superman, now I'm not big on Superman, but some Superman villains that would be pretty cool for them to bring in would be like Metallo. Metallo has a really cool backstory. Bizarro would make some cool fights. You could even bring Lobo in to fight Superman, which they could then piggyback off, and he could fight him. You could even do a Superman and Shazam type thing. Just stay away from people like Mr. Mxyzptlk and the Toy Man, stuff like that. You could even bring in Mongol. Mongol would be really cool for for Superman to go after. Really push it, but make Lex Luthor be more evil and more evil as the Man of Steel franchise goes on. And of course with Batman, one thing I'm going to suggest with Batman is villains that have not been done or have not been done right. Scarecrow. Scarecrow was not done right in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. That was not Scarecrow. But what they could also do is bring people like the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter was a really cool villain. I like his stylization and how he's obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. Could really work well. Clayface. I think Clayface could work really well in one of the movies. I think if they did Clayface right, it could be awesome. The Riddler. If they brought in the Riddler and made it where you could make it psychological. The world's greatest detective trying to outsmart the Riddler, who thinks he's smarter than Batman. That could be really cool. You could do Mr. Freeze again, because I don't think he was done properly. Try and do Mr. Freeze with a proper backstory. And I would love to see... there's a comic, it's called The Long Halloween. It's Batman is in Arkham for one night with all of his villains. It could be a way for you to be introduced to Batman, Batman's Rogues Gallery. Like, they're an aged Rogues Gallery. So I think that would be cool, and it'd be really cool for them to incorporate Arkham more than they did in the other movies. Because they really didn't incorporate Arkham. Like, bring some of the Arkham game, pluck it out of there and put it in there. And I think that'd be really cool. There's a lot of good directions the DC universe could really go in. it's just up in the air, because I don't know if all the bad critic reviews are going to halter DC, or if it's going to help DC. Only DC Comics knows what they're going to do. The DC Cinematic Universe is a long time coming. It's 2016, and it's just now getting off the ground. And I don't know if they're going to do well. Well, this has been my first episode. It's DC. Hopefully they get off the ground. I've been waiting for them to get off the ground for a long time. In my next episode, I am going to talk about the Marvel Universe. I'm going to start with the Marvel Fox Universe and talk about where I think it's going to go based on the movies that have been announced and movies I would like to see under the Marvel Fox banner. And you know what? Thank you. And I'll always see you in the pages.